Is MySpace, and here is one of the men who founded it, Tom Anderson. How are you? Good to see you. You are much blonder in your profile pic.
I think it's just a light computer screen because my hair has not changed. I don't know. I've been hearing that all day today.
And it's like, wait a minute, Tom. Tom has become. You have become this guy in a way. I mean, for people, we just sort of explain the beginning of MySpace. You becoming the poster child. How did that happen?
It actually goes way back to Friendster. Maybe this is like too boring of a story for TV, but there used to be this network where you couldn't see people unless you had a friend.
Right.
And Friendster was first, and we were trying to compete. So when people signed up, they wouldn't see anything. That's boring. So I put myself as this person that could connect everyone else, so you'd see people right when you signed up. That was the idea. And within a week, we couldn't handle the load of processing that network, so we just got rid of it.
Now, how did word start to get out? Like, what got the word out for MySpace? Because it did happen pretty quickly.
Yeah. I think a lot of groups were just telling each other. It was all, sort of viral marketing from one friend to the next. So we tried some marketing in the beginning, but it just really didn't work. It was all about people telling other people.
How many friends do you officially have now?
I think we're up to 175 million.
For your official friends?
Yeah.
Is that more or less than Dane Cook, the comedian?
He's got about 1.7 million.
So certainly a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, he's got more than anyone else that, has a real profile.
How many, and of obviously all those people who are on, who you're added to, how many do you get to meet? Do people recognize you? Do people walk up to you?
Yeah. Not everyone, but I meet a lot of people every day, yeah.
They go, do I know you from somewhere?
Yeah, they do, yeah. You look familiar.
MySpace, as you know, changed pop culture.
Yes.
Like it did. Did you have an idea that was going to happen?
No, that's the one thing. People asked, did you know it was going to be big? And that was the plan. I mean, we were thinking very big, but sort of the way that it just became, this thing that's cool for people, and that there's music and film and fashion and all these things, I didn't really expect. I'm not a cool guy, I didn't expect that to happen, so I don't know how it happened.
I went and saw a band on the weekend called Dame that I saw because they MySpace linked me, and the songs were amazing.
Yeah. And
it became a big part of that. And then you got a lot of money, man. You sold it to Fox.
Yeah.
Or to News Corp. How did that whole, when did you start to get the sense that this was going to happen? Did you always intend to sell it off? Like sometimes people have startups and they create this idea, they just know they're going to unload it eventually.
Yeah, we thought that a media company would come and buy it someday, and we wanted that the big money injection to help grow it, to make it international, and to pay for all the equipment in the beginning. So that was sort of the plan.
And how the News Corp thing sort of come together?
And we made a great choice, I think. A lot of people were looking at buying it, and News Corp has been, I think, smart enough to let us continue to do what we do and really keep hands off, which is not typical for a big corporation like that. You sort of expect them to screw it up and sort of impose their will on it.
Yeah. Well, as soon as the news came out that News Corp and Fox had stepped in, people did think that's it. That's the end of the MySpace run.
And I think that whenever, other sites that I use, whenever they get bought, everything is going to change. They're going to ruin it, because typically they do.
Talk about now there's a Canada page.
Yeah. The Canada page is, well, not just a page, but the whole site now has been translated into French for French-Canadian users, and we started to localize the content. So you won't see all the American stuff anymore. We'll have somebody here programming for music, film, fashion, video, comedians. So you'll get local stuff, and you'll get international stuff as well, but the idea is to give people what they're interested in here.
The military story that came out, the Department of Defense sort of saying, I mean, think of how high this has gone, where the American government is saying to the soldiers, no more MySpace for you.
And it's unfortunate, too. I don't know the whole story. I mean, I heard about it more from doing interviews this morning. I hadn't seen it, but I do know, how many emails I get all the time from soldiers and family members saying that this is the way that they keep in contact while they're in Iraq or wherever they are. And so it's unfortunate that that's happened. But
now, did you have a target audience in mind when you guys set MySpace up?
I mean, we were 18 and up when we began, so, we were thinking more 18 to 25, younger people that had been online. But very quickly, even younger people started showing up, so we lowered the age, 17, 16-year-olds. And then over time, more older people started showing up. So I've seen, a granddaughter, the mother, and the grandmother all on the site in one little friend network, and all the families talking to each other. So it's really not a site for kids anymore. When
you first got, I know that a lot of, initially anytime there's a site like this with social networking, there's a lot of people who have their natural safety concerns. Yeah. I mean, the web is loaded with creepoids out there. When you started to become aware of how many younger people were involved, that it's like, hey, we need to do something about this to prevent from,
right.
the predators?
Yeah, when we began, it was 18 and up. It wasn't something we thought much about. But as the younger kids came in, we hired a chief security officer, been with Microsoft for 10 years, and it's sort of, his business. He'd done this forever and started changing the privacy controls and started education programs and working with different organizations, from parental organizations to law enforcement, to sort of teach them about MySpace and how to use it safely and responsibly. Did
you have any idea the music would do? Like, the music to me is what makes, a lot of people are on Facebook now and in other social networking sites, and I think what really helped MySpace was the music angle. Yeah. Like, Lily Allen and other artists, and even Dane Cook. Dane Cook ain't that funny, man. And a lot of people bought into Dane. No, in fact, ain't that funny, I'm giving him credit. I'm just saying, but MySpace is a huge thing for Dane Cook, and for a lot of these people.
Yeah. Dane Cook was there from the beginning, and I was getting emails saying, because he was big before, but people would write to me and say, is this the real Dane Cook? And I didn't know, because I didn't know who he was. And then I found out, but yeah, as he's grown to be the biggest user, his comedy album that came out sold almost, I think, 1 million copies, and however many it sold, it was the biggest album since 1973, Steve Martin, the biggest comedy album. So
but MySpace is directly a part of that.
I think so. I think it had a big component in the sales, big impact on the sales.
Earlier tonight in Toronto, there was a MySpace show.
Yes.
You have the secret shows thing going on.
Billy Talent, and I think if this show airs at 8 o'clock, if you run down there, maybe there's a chance to still get in.
But I know in the planning of the show, you guys were very careful about what bands you picked. You could have put a lot. Billy Talent are a successful band, but you could have gone even more successful. And I'm a fan of Billy Talent, so I'm happy you picked them.
Yeah.
But it was important not to go too big.
Yeah, I think we wanted something a little punk rock, something very Canadian, so that was part of the reasoning.
What's the advent of Facebook mean? It's obviously not nearly as popular right now as MySpace is, but it is picking up a little bit of steam. How do you guys deal with that?
Yeah, I think Facebook is quite different. It's mostly people talking to each other that know each other, and MySpace has always been more open. You can set your MySpace so that you only talk to your friends. A lot of people don't even know that, but Facebook is more about who you know, and MySpace is more about meeting more people and the people you know, and music and video and all these different cultural aspects. So,
are you getting involved in politics too with Mark Burnett?
Yes.
What's going on with that?
Well, we're working on a reality show. It's sort of like The Apprentice, but for politicians. So I think we'll start with people on a local level, however they want to, use the system and use the show to sort of build their political career. And we also launched an impact channel, which is a place for nonprofits and all the do-gooders of the world to come together on MySpace and sort of show what they're about. And in that section, we have all the candidates from the presidential race in America. And they've all got profiles, and they're taking it seriously, fighting out, in their friends lists.
It's amazing how much it has changed the way people can consume their media now. Something like this, and that I guess politics could find a real home on this.
Yeah. It's, sort of at the last election in the States, they were saying that blogging was going to change everything, and it didn't really pan out. But I think this time, a year and a half before the election, or however far away it is, it's, we've already got all the candidates, on there and just trying to get something going.
That's amazing. Thanks for coming in, man.
Hey, thank you.
It's really good to see you. Tom, everybody. Hey, this is my first friend on MySpace. Hey, you know what? Now I can actually say I know Tom, as opposed to doing that's great. Tom Anderson, lots more to come on the show, including Michael Bublé. We'll be right back.